Florida State 31, Clemson 24.
Yes. 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 Suck it, Clemson. Yeah.
I hate hearing that music. I hate it with a passion.
Hey. Suck it up, Buttercup. You'll get some later this year. No, but still, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, episode 6 of Sports Zone 904. I'm Jim Renier. That's Pat Eubanks. Episode 6 here in Sports Den. I want to say thank you to all the people and all the listeners who have joined Sports Den, followed our shows. We had a great, how can I say? We had a great turnout. I was surprised how big our show got with viewerships. Again, subscribe, hit that bell, pay that $3.99 membership at Den Media. Sports Zone 904 Podcast is a proud partner of Den Media Group. Big Game James went up to Clemson this week as a representative of the Gator Bowl, and he recruited very well. He got the team that he wants to get to the Gator Bowl, and that is the Clemson Tigers. But remember, like, subscribe, click the bell, builds morale, all the shindigs, $3.99, get your membership. All the stuff he does for Den Media helps support local communities, book back drives, getting people to certain football games that they hope they want to go to. It's a good cause. Membership goes a long way for here in the Den Media. But Pat, we'll talk about the shitstorm that was Sunday afternoon later in the show.
Do we have to talk about it?
We have to, but unfortunately, I'm so mad. I actually had to go put on a winning Jacksonville organization T-shirt with the Jacksonville Sharks. A team that actually wins and beats teams that they're supposed to beat. That's just absolutely depressing. You had a team that had 9 guys, not even start.
Yeah, he had 9 total stars out for that game. 4 of them were defensive linemen too, and we still can't do anything.
Yeah. Before we go talk about FSU, Clemson, and Florida and Charlotte, C.J. Stroud is going to be him. He's going to be 100%. A damn good quarterback in the NFL.
100%. He's already making strides.
Yeah, he's impressed me so far in the first 3 weeks. Now, week 10, week 12, maybe a different story, but as of right now, he's cool, calm, the collective, and he's surrounded by a bunch of young guys there in Houston.
Mm-hmm. It's very impressive in these first 3 weeks to see him already making those strides. I mean, you don't really see a quarterback every now and then that can do that, to make that early impressment on everybody, but he's already doing it. So CJ Stroud's going to be a problem in the AFC in the future.
And there were some throws he made, and everyone's like, "Man, that's a beautiful throw." Then I rewatched the game. Well, when you have a pocket that freaking big, you can make any type of throw.
Yeah.
We had no pass rush at all. I'm looking at free agency defensive linemen there that have not been signed. Trent Baalke, signed every single one of them. I don't care. We need some pass rush.
We need it bad, real bad.
But yeah, How can I say this without really infecting my fandom? I'm getting sick and tired of losing to a lesser opponent like the Houston Texans.
It's sad.
It's 6 years now, and 5 of those 6 years they're worse than us, and they still beat us.
Well, what's the bad part about it is too, out of those 6 years, we were the first win for the Texans when they come up against us. They come in 0-2, and next thing you know, they get their first win over us.
What's sad is that we're 9-10. We only won 1 game in the last 10 against Houston.
That's so sad. That's real sad.
That's honestly, Houston feels like coming to Jacksonville. It's like how Tennessee feels like going to Florida. We're definitely not winning in Florida. We know that already.
Yeah.
And Houston's like, we're definitely winning Jacksonville because they can't beat us.
And Houston probably all the fans are probably saying, "Hey, let's just not make this a home game for us. Let's just go ahead and make this
Mhm.
other game in Jacksonville again, so we get the sweep on us.
And the thing, and what's very funny about this whole thing is that I saw on Twitter that a lot of the fans started leaving at halftime, and people's like, "Oh, Jacksonville's fair weather fans." It's like, no, 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 we're not. We know
No,
that we saw this bullshit before. It's
yeah,
deja vu to us. We're like, we're not gonna get cooked in this teal heavy stadium. We're just gonna go home, and when we go home, we know what the final score is going to be. And when the
yeah,
people got
exactly.
home, we knew this final score would be. But I don't want to feel too down about my Jacksonville Jaguars. At least we're not the Dallas Cowboys. Lost to a team that doesn't even have a quarterback.
That's real sad. After watching Dallas the first two games, I was like, oh, this is going to be a better Dallas team that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't seen for a while.
San Fran's
And
the
next,
best team in the NFL.
yeah, 100% hands down. But with Dallas going into Arizona and losing to them, that makes it like 7 in a row they lost to Arizona, I
Yeah.
think. So we have no clue what's going on now.
It's the NFL. That's why they play the game and not
Mm-hmm.
have random computers judge what it is.
Yeah.
Also, to touch other things about the NFL before we get into talks about our college teams. Um, Apparently, the NFL got 30,000 more non-NFL fans because some singer is banging the Kansas City tight end. Like, I saw videos of that, of her going crazy. I'm like, woman, it's the third week in the season. The NFL is not the fucking Super Bowl. Like,
Nope.
calm down. We know you're faking it. We know that you're just doing that to get cameras on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
100%.
Kelsey, we know you're a dang good tight end. You don't need to be with Taylor Swift. I am
Nope.
sorry.
0 negative. Don't do it again because all the time the camera was on Taylor Swift while that
Yes.
game was going on. I was like, I'm getting sick and tired of this. If I want to see
I,
Taylor Swift, I'll just put on YouTube Taylor
I
Swift.
saw the Twitter account pop up. It's like, I'd rather
Mm-hmm.
watch Mahomes' brother than Taylor Swift. And I knew right then and there, it's like, well, NFL fans have already had it with Taylor Swift already.
Yeah.
Not even a
100%.
half. They were like, we want Patrick Mahomes' brother back.
Yeah. I mean, people that's a little bit more exciting with Patrick Mahomes' brother because he actually does some crazy stuff all the time, and
He just
it's
gets banned. He just gets banned from stadiums for doing stupid shit. But that's
all
Patrick
the time.
Mahomes' brother.
Yep.
But yeah, I was watching Kansas City. I'm like, oh, Patrick Mahomes touchdown. Let's zoom in and see what Taylor Swift's doing. Oh, she's drinking. It looks like a sweet tea. Like, I don't care.
I
Like,
care less. Just
like
go back to the game and let us watch the game. Don't.
really, I don't want Tony Romo to give me breakdowns of Taylor Swift. No.
Oh my gosh! If that started happening, I would just turn the power button, just turn my TV off. I'm done.
Very, 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 very quickly, people have been done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's aggravating.
It is. It's very aggravating.
It's really aggravating. Like, we know it's a Hollywood superstar BS. We already know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
100%.
but also, there's other news that came out. Pro Football Talk did again. Our focus said that the Jacksonville Jaguars president Mark Lamping was quoted as saying that he's threatening the city of Jacksonville. And actually, he did not threaten the city of Jacksonville. He basically said, and I quote, I don't have the quote for me, but and what he summed up is like, if things don't go the way of the Jags, there is a possibility of relocation, as we've seen in other cities in the NFL. And he mentioned San Diego. He mentioned Oakland. He mentioned Houston back in the day. He was just getting all the and then in that same article it says the city of Jacksonville and the Jaguars have been open about communications, and the communication is further than what they expected at this point. That does not sound like a team that's going to leave because they're not getting a new stadium. Mark
Oh.
Lamping was asked a question about how NFL stadiums approach things, and the answer is like he was saying, like, we're right now Jacksonville is not Oakland's and the San Diegos and the Houstons of the past that lost their organization because the city was too like, no, we need to start funding parks that no one goes to. Like, he basically Like, that's what Jacksonville needs, more parks that no one uses.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that at all.
I know. I work for the city. We have too many parks and no one uses them.
Well, you
But
need to do something, you know. I
job
mean,
support it keeps me employed.
work.
That's the only thing about that. It's just Pro Football Focus. Mark Florio is an idiot. Oh,
Mhm.
Mark Lamping threatened the city. He did not threaten the city of Jacksonville. Stop grabbing an article piece of 2 sentences and thinking that's exactly what he said.
Just grabbing stuff out of the midair, thin air, trying to make it come true, but
Irritating, freaking irritating. So before we get to the NFL talk about the depressment that is Jacksonville, let's go into the brighter side of Sears this weekend because at least our 2 college teams actually freaking showed up this weekend. Uh, in the victorious way. Better in the victorious way.
better. That's better. I like that
Okay.
better.
Let's head to game. Not really. Let's head to nope. Come on, click on it. There we go. Let's head to not Tallahassee because they didn't play in Tallahassee. They played in lovely Death Valley, aka Dabo's Chitty's house, or the GIL, the birthplace of the GIL, known as God, Image, and Likeness, in which Dabo was quoted saying, "I build my program off of God, Image, and Likeness." And I want to retort and say this, Dabo, if you listen to the show, name, image, and likeness wins you championships. God, Image, and Likeness will win you Gator Bowls. So you will be going to a Gator Bowl because you need to get into the transfer portal to win games in this day and age. The transfer portal is key in college football, and you're falling further behind. And from a guy that I've heard on a local radio said, Dabo is like Bobby Bowden. He's behind times and will never change, and at times will pass him, and the program will start failing. Right now,
Yeah.
that's Dabo. But speaking of the game in Clemson, there's a certain play that I love. Deloach, number 4, just pegs the crap out of freaking Kate Couplet, whatever pronounce his name, and then takes it to the house in a big change of events. In this game, this was a classic FSU Clemson game. Both teams very similar. People underestimate them back on the freaking map with Bobby Bowden's son years ago with Terry Bowden. And what really aggravates me is when you look at national media and they go, FSU struggles on road at Clemson. ESPN was, quote, right here, FSU survives Clemson. I ask you, Pat, what does survive mean? Meaning you got the lead and you held on for dear life? Or does survive meaning you win in overtime because the other team that you played had the lead the entire game and you won in overtime? What fits here?
No, I
Hold on,
mean,
survive or winning?
like you just said, like you came back and you tied with that team and go to overtime and you win it in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I see surviving. Not like that. I don't know why they had a title like that, which was dumb, extremely dumb, because that game was neck to neck. There was nobody was down big. I'm sorry, but ESPN, you better find someone else that knows how to title stuff better because that was not a survive.
Yeah.
That was a straight up win.
And yeah, Clemson was unranked, but if you look at Clemson's loss, is against a top 20 team in Duke, who, again, blew the crap out of their opponent this past weekend, UConn. And our hosting game day this weekend when Notre Dame comes to town. What's very aggravating about that is, as a Florida State fan, it's like right now, it's happening right now. It happened in 2013, where we get punished for playing tough games on the road against teams that historically play tough against Florida State. But one thing, there was a tweet I saw on Saturday that made my day. I literally laughed my ass off when I saw this. And basically, it's like, if you watch the game, you heard about the walk-on kicker that came back, they needed a kicker, and he's going to storybook ending, and he's going to kick the field goal to win the game. A guy who's only been came back for about a couple of days because Dabo needed a kicker. So it's like God said "F you" to your Cinderella story, and that's all that. I just lost. I'm like, why you had to do the man like that? It's like
wow.
that was a pressure situation for a guy who probably was kicking 2 weeks, honestly.
Yeah.
And he missed it to the left. But I saw that tweet. It's like, we don't care about your heartwarming comeback story.
Oh
but
my goodness.
overall in the game, one thing when I look at this Florida State team, no matter if they're down by 10 or down by 7 or on the fence of blowing someone out, they never lose focus. That's something that this Florida State team hasn't had in years. And people say that, well, you beat a bad Clemson team. Clemson is 48-2 in its last 50 ACC home games. 48-2.
That's not a bad team.
No, the 2 losses are to Pittsburgh and Florida State. They don't lose in Death Valley.
Then they don't lose in Death Valley. No, I mean, for them to say that that's a bad Clemson team, they better go back and evaluate themselves at that point.
And again, some of these people I see say that do go to Clemson this year, and they play for the University of Miami, so they'll experience Clemson. Clemson is not an easy place. When I saw the game as a noon kickoff, I was like, oh, thank God.
Because I know you were happy about that.
You didn't want 8 hours of drunk students getting all liquored up and getting into Death Valley at night. Death Valley at night is like the swamp at night. It's like Doak at night. It's a different atmosphere than high noon on ABC.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
If it's prime time, it's a different beast. And if it was prime time, I think it would have been a different situation. But Florida State did something that impressed me. I knew halfway through the game the refs were against us. Our receivers were getting tackled. Our D line was getting held like crazy. They were doing wide receiver picks blatantly on our guys, and our refs staring at them and won't call the call. Call it. At the end of the game, Keon Coleman burns the shit out of a DB for Clemson, and the Clemson guy is hanging on his back. No flag. We had a punt. And one thing I really liked about the game is that in overtime, Florida State used a couple plays that schemed up like Clemson saw earlier in the game and exposed Clemson's aggressiveness, and that's why they got the Keon Coleman touchdown in the overtime. Now, Keon Coleman's first touchdown was like a development of like 4 or 5 consecutive plays where they're trying to get that safety to bite, and that happened. But one thing people that I see on, especially from ESPN and all the haters, especially like Pat McAfee, what he said on game day, he can go shove it. Oh, Clemson's a good team. Florida State has not played in a hostile environment that is Clemson. I'm like, bro, we played at the swamp. Like, we've played in hostile environments, so don't give me that BS.
I mean, y'all played LSU.
Played LSU in New Orleans, and we played them in Tallahassee or in Orlando. It's aggravating that when they say Florida State's supposed to win, and then Florida State wins, well, they look like a fraudulent team. We were favored 2.5 on the road at Clemson, and we won by 7.
See, and that's what it gets aggravating right there is that, Florida State is a fraudulent team. I'm like, have y'all not been watching this team, especially last year's team, when you starting to see their true identity underneath Mike Norvell? I mean, right there, then you starting to see that team start getting focused, starting to win these games, and not looking back at all.
Yeah,
that's not a fraudulent team.
Yeah, well, with Army losing, Florida State now has the 3rd longest active winning streak in college football with 10 games. So
there you
go. I forgot who's above us, but Georgia's number 1 still because but their schedule starts ratcheting up here. All their little South Alabamas and UABs of the world are gone from their schedule. They go into SEC play now. So we'll see what Georgia really is this year.
But with Auburn losing Auburn losing Texas A&M, that hurts them there in the strength of schedule. So,
but there's a saying out there about sports: good teams win, great teams cover.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State covered, yet people say, "Oh, Florida State struggled." Well, Vegas is, even though people hate how Vegas does point spreads, 99% of the time they're pretty freaking accurate.
Yeah,
They're accurate
they're
about
around the money.
They were literally on point with the total points at halftime. They predicted total points at halftime at 17-14 for the same exact team. Money, like that's scary how close Vegas was.
That's
And then
real
you
scary.
go look around college football and you see teams like, okay, I know we'll mention this, but I, as a Florida State fan, and I guarantee you Coleman wants to hear this, I guarantee our listeners want to hear it. Hey, Dion, how you like that humble pie, boy? You got smoked. Oh, I look at this. I look at the halftime score. I'm like, that has to be the final score. And look at halftime. Boy, Oregon. Aflac whipped his ass. I don't even think he's going to have a sponsorship anymore.
That duck just came out and just whipped him.
Holy shit.
Into non-existent there.
And I saw someone do the meme. Nick Saban walks in the door. It's like, how was your weekend? He goes, I need Aflac. And Aflac's over there smoking cigars. Like, nah, bro, I'm good.
I'm good.
I saw that. That's why I'm like, who comes up with this crap? But it's nice that Colorado got some humble pie. You do not go on the road to Oregon and then go in your pregame walkthrough, go spit on their logo and cleat their logo, and not thinking that Oregon is going to run it up on you. And Dan Lemmy, the head coach of Oregon, had the greatest quote of the weekend. They're battling for clicks. We're battling for wins. And that got Oregon on money, and Oregon demolished Colorado. Because earlier in the year, I even said to you, I think we were watching the game somewhere, it's like, Colorado does not have depth. I think it was a TCU first week one. We were like, they have no D-line depth. A team that knows how to run the football is going to scorch them.
And
Oregon did.
Yeah, Oregon did. And it comes down, like we were talking about, the Colorado not having a depth. I mean, you have Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball.
And Shador is an NFL quarterback. He's damn good.
Yeah, he's real damn good.
But if you have no O-line protecting you or D-line getting after quarterback, you ain't going to win shit.
No, and that's the problem, too. I mean, everybody's like, oh, look at Colorado's offense putting up points left and right. TCU, bad team. They lost everybody after last year's season. Nebraska, not a good team. They're still trying to find their identity still.
Yeah.
Colorado State, ooh, whoop-de-freaking do. Another bad team.
They should have lost to Colorado State.
They should have. I was rooting for Colorado State.
And they get smoked by Oregon, and they're going to get smoked next week against USC.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks. I mean, that's tough. But still, I'm just happy I'm not tuning into ESPN or Sports Center, listening to Dion or any of that Colorado stuff anymore.
Big noon kickoff is back in Colorado this
weekend. Of course again. They are. They want to see the shades come out and see how Colorado's going to respond. Not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But also, in around the college football realm, Alabama said, nay, we're still here to play. That was a complete no-show by Ole Miss. Thank you, Ole Miss. But Alabama came back. Also, I know Texas A&M did beat Auburn, but Jimbo needs to realize that he doesn't play on defense. He needs to get his ass on the sideline. I saw that play. I'm like, where's the flag? He's on the field during the play. Like, come on, Jimbo. What the hell are you doing, man?
In all honesty, when I watched the replay of that game and I saw Jimbo about like 5 yards out onto the field, I was like, please truck him. Just do it. Just for the hell of it. And make FSU fans happy about it. I mean, it'd make me happy to see that happen. But he looked like he was lost. Like,
he was.
like complete loss. He didn't know what to do. I thought at first he was gonna stick his leg out and try to trip the guy. So
Really? You think? You think he was going to do a freaking Russian leg sweep on that?
you might as well at that point try to save your win, or try to save that. Yeet. But
Man, that'd been funny. No, I'll gain so much respect from Jimbo if he did that, dude. You don't understand how much respect I'll have for Jimbo if he did that.
mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, I know you screwed over FSU, but you just going out like that in style, you're my respect back. Guy stumbles like, and he'll throw up his hands like, what did I do? I don't know what you're talking about. He ran into me. Coach, you're 5 yards onto the field. What are you doing, bro? Get off the field.
Matter of fact, where's that one coach that's supposed to bring the coach on back onto the sideline? Hey, you can't be out that far, coach. Let's get you back on here.
Yeah, that's usually the athletic trainers.
Yeah, where was he at?
Like I know, like Florida State's Coach Storm. I don't know who Florida has, and there's a guy out there. When Jimbo was at Florida State, it was Coach Vic. Now Coach Vic is at Baylor, I think, and his responsible is to hold on to the coach's belt because if he goes out, I know Kirby Smart has 2 guys holding him down, and he still finds a way to get on the freaking field. Also, I have breaking news, by the way, about Clemson. It just came on the scroll. I have to put it. Breaking news. Nope, wrong. I take that back. I'll go somewhere else for the breaking news. Let me go right here. Okay, let's do this. Well, okay, here we go. Breaking news out of Clemson. I know a lot of you fans want to know what's going on at Clemson. No, Dabo did not get fired, unfortunately. I know we as Florida State fans will love Dabo to get canned because he's such a good quality guy, and he believes that everything he does, his shit don't stink. And of course, that's not accurate. But the breaking news is from Clemson is that the Clemson Tigers have been officially eliminated from playoff contention. So I'm just roasting the hell out of Clemson because it's been 9 years or 7 years, how long it is against Clemson. Suck it, Clemson. 31-24. Enjoy the Gator Bowl or the Independence Bowl or wherever bowl you're going to go to. Hopefully you finish the out strong, but you need a lot of help to get in the ACC championship game. So enjoy your trip to the Orange Bowl, or nope, they're not going to Orange Bowl. That's a bigger bowl game. Enjoy your trip to lovely. Let's make a prediction. I guarantee you they'll be either going to the Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando, or they're going to the Gator Bowl in Jack. No. They're going to the Duke Mayo Bowl. They're going to get all mayonnaise stuff. Duke Mayo's Bowl, and most likely play South Carolina again. So they'll play South Carolina 12. They'll call that the South Carolina Invitational, the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Can you imagine if that actually happened? I'll laugh.
That would be hilarious. I'd be like, you beat them, you lose them in the regular season, then you got to play them in the bowl game. That would be classic. Let's get over to, unfortunately, the swamp. We had to talk about your guys a little bit, but I do want to mention one thing about a certain player you guys have, and I was pretty impressed when I saw it. And that is Pearsall with this.
Because if that happens, I don't know what I'll be doing. I'd be crying. I'll probably be crying if that did happen. But at
least it's noon, so at least it's not a 7:00 game. So when you come over here for the Jaguar game, you're not crying to just prepare yourself to cry even more.
No, I don't want that to happen. If that ever happens, I'm leaving your place like early, and I'm just like, no, I'm just going home. Yes.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I'd be sitting there like, bring out the hard liquor. Let's go. I'm done with that weekend.
Have Coke syrup. That's about it.
That's not hard liquor. But
no. We'll get Nick to bring the hard liquor.
Yeah, we'll get that to happen. But like I said, and I mentioned it just a couple seconds ago, it felt like a trap game during that because you come off a huge win against Tennessee, and you're not. It felt like they weren't 100% prepared. They like Billy Napier said that the Tuesday and Wednesday practice they weren't putting forth all their effort into it, like trying to keep their focus. And to be honest, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, we need to see more of the passing game."
Mm-hmm.
For freak's sakes, yeah, we saw the passing game, but I wanted to see more running game. Montreal Johnson only had 68 yards. Only 68 yards, and you had ETN that had less than that. I think he only had about 45 yards
Mm-hmm.
and only 8 touches. So when Montreal had about 15 or a little bit more over touches. That it was scary to watch, and of course I was with my dad. We were watching. I'm like, we are really fooling around with Charlotte right now. We are trying on a struggle win against Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
There was plenty of times that we should have scored, but no, we'd rather see Trey Smack kick 5 field goals and see how he can do. Yes, it came down to it's going to come down to the point that we need a field goal just in case if we do need to win. So we need to see our field goal kicker, see how his leg can do it. He kicked a 53-yard field goal, which was impressive. It's been a while since we've seen that since like Evan McPherson and all of them. But other than that, it's like if we go into Lexington and we play like that, Mark Stoops will just meet Billy Napier in the middle after the game and say, "Here, hold this L while you're going back to Gainesville." And we don't need to see that because Kentucky is going to be another game that Napier needs a statement win after beating Tennessee to keep his momentum going in the SEC conference. So it's right now. If someone comes up to me and say, "Oh, hey, how do you think this game's gonna go?" I say it's a coin flip. I'll legitimately pull a quarter out and say, "Here, call it." I don't know who's gonna win this game.
What's the point spread? Right now,
Points right now, I think it's like 3, 4.5.
Kentucky's favored, so it's almost like a pick 'em.
Pretty much, yes. But yet again, Graham Mertz, he performed pretty well. He took some hard shots during that game, and I thought there was a couple times that he was down for the count, but he got back up and continued playing. But what also aggravated me during that game was we're on Charlotte's, I think, 15, 10-yard line. This was like late in the fourth quarter, and it was 4th and 1.
And you kick a field goal.
You kick a field goal. You're telling me you just told everybody that we can't gain a yard with Montreal Johnson in the backfield and with ETN in the backfield. No. You why you gotta do me like that?
Because I feel your pain too, man. Sometimes I felt it the next day with the Jags.
No, we all felt it. We all felt that the next day.
But words of a local radio guy, he goes, 1 offensive touchdown. All the rest are field goals against Charlotte.
Against Charlotte, you're telling everybody that, hey, we can only kick field goals. We don't want to make any more touchdowns. I mean, shoot. Even Tennessee fans are like, how did we lose this team? How did we lose this team?
And someone said, one on the show is like, so Charlotte are you telling me that Charlotte has a better defense than Tennessee? Like,
apparently.
Like I remember, because I was watching Notre Dame and Ohio State. I didn't care who lost that game. I was going to be happy anyways because I don't like either school. Then I look at the score. I'm like, oh, it's 19-6. I'm like, oh, that must be first quarter. And I'll look at it and I'm like, oh, it was 19-7 or something like that, or 16-7. I was like, oh, it must be early in the first quarter. And I look at the score. It's halftime. I'm like, what's going on down there? And I don't have ESPN Plus. Well, I think it was on the ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it was on the ESPN Plus.
And out of respect, I didn't text you because you didn't text me against FSU Clemson. So I was like, I'm not going to say anything to Pat. I'll just ask him after the game.
Because if you would have texted me during that game, you see a whole bunch of F-bombs just going,
I'm not that type of person. Like we know who we play golf with. that makes those subtle statements. Are like, really, dude? Like, we're not taking it seriously right now. So why are you making the statements?
The one I just want to tee up real quick and just hit one right at him,
Yeah.
But
I just want to say, like, as a outside looking in, I didn't see the game. The only thing I saw was the catch, which is very impressive. And then I hear on local radio that you're settling for field goals when you're favored to win the game by 34.5. I think was the final Vegas line.
Yeah,
was
it was like
34.5.
it was high. It was real high.
And from what I've heard on the radio, people who went to the game said that Gator fans felt disappointed after that game because of the emotional victory against Tennessee. Then you almost do a letdown. And this radio announcer did a show here. It said it felt like we lost the game, even though we won the game.
Yeah, 100%. When I was walking out, and I told my dad, I said, "Was this a victory? Was a loss in our books." I mean, you come off a great win against Tennessee, and you come in here. Yeah, sure, win's a win, but that was a straight up loss in my books because we should have blown Charlotte out. I'm sorry, we should, but no. We don't want to blow them. We want to see how impressive their defense was to stop our offense. And for freak's sakes, Billy, please, for the love of God, just give Montrell and ETN the ball and try to gas that defense out next time if we ever do play them again. Hopefully, we don't have to see them.
You won't play Charlotte again because you're just doing SEC schedule from here on out. Then FSU.
I'm just saying in the near future, But right now,
I did know one thing: FSU Florida at the end of the year is going to be a defensive battle. FSU has really good. FSU has a really good defense, and it's very hard to run around with FSU. And Florida has a good running game, and they have a solid defense. I believe that game's going to be like last year's game. I didn't expect a 35 to. What was the final score? Like 38-35 type of score? I'm like,
it was 38-30. It was close.
No, I didn't expect that. I expect Florida State to win this year, but I guarantee it's going to be one of those draw-on freaking battles where you look at the fourth quarter and it's whoever has the ball last, and you need that defense to make the play. That's the type of game I think is going to be happening this year in Swamp.
And alluding back to that game from last year, when Florida came out after halftime, and we throw the ball 3 times and not run it once on our first possession, I was like, we lost the game because we're not running the ball down Florida State's defense's throat. Because your defense wasn't stopping the run that night.
Our defense wasn't stopping anything that night. Florida's defense wasn't either.
No.
Florida's defense couldn't stop Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis was just going circles and everywhere. But we're comparing FSU, Florida State, Florida to Charlotte. It's very hard that's one thing I want to say. I like how Florida State schedule is this year. We play Clemson, and then we have a bye week. So next game, we're home against Virginia Tech. So they rest up. They won't have that emotional down game because they'll have a week and a half off before they get ready for Virginia Tech. And Virginia Tech is garbage. They lost to Marshall. Marshall can't throw the football, and they lost to Marshall. Florida State has 3 home games. I know Florida has Vandy in a couple of weeks. I think a bye week pretty soon. Is it Kentucky, Vandy bye week?
So we got Kentucky, Vandy, South Carolina, Georgia. So
then bye. You have a bye week after Georgia?
I think it's either normally I have to look at the schedule again. Normally it's a bye week after Georgia, but it could be a bye week before Georgia this year. If we could get that bye week before Georgia, I'd be happy. But as I looked at the schedule, Kentucky, that's a toss up. If we come out with a win, I'd be happy with that.
All right.
Then we got Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt always plays Florida tough all freaking time. I don't understand it, like the freaking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know, they turn into Dr. Jekyll and freaking want to play as tough.
Yeah. Still can't believe the guys got beat by them last year. I saw a score. I'm like, what? What's going on? That was a team that was underprepared and overlooking Vandy for Florida State.
Yeah. 100%. I was ready to drive my head through a wall when I was watching that game.
Yep, that's what happened. You were underprepared and you were looking ahead to Florida State, and Vandy got you.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. And this year, you're at Missouri before you're home against Florida State. Don't have this. The one thing I want to tell Gator fans: don't let Florida State go into the swamp undefeated at the end of the year, and you have the opportunity to knock out Florida State, and then you guys overlook Missouri. Because if Missouri knocks you off, yes, you'll be angry against Florida State, but Florida State will know that they're going to be playing against a pissed off Florida team.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw your schedule. Like, they got Missouri before us. I don't like that. That's not good for Florida. For me, we got North Alabama. We play our FCS team at the very end of the year. So I'm like, okay, I understand that. But when I looked at Florida's schedule, I'm like, and now since how Florida State's playing right now and how everything's situated, if that game in the swamp and Florida State's undefeated and in the playoff picture, by then Florida State's already clinched a berth in the ACC championship game. That might be a game that, honestly, if Florida keeps staying in the top 25 and stays consistent throughout the year, Florida State can lose that game and still make the college football playoff if they win the ACC championship game the next week.
Yeah, 100%. You can see a little bit of that being drawn up on the board right now. Just
wait till the 12-team playoff. It's going to happen in more conferences.
Yeah, it's going to be happening a lot in more conferences. But right now, it's that as Florida State fans, I don't know how y'all want to see this or not. Same thing for you, Jim. As Florida, if Florida does beat Kentucky, beats South Carolina, Vanderbilt, and of course we're probably going to drop our losses like Georgia, LSU there.
Hey, if you're talking about FSU getting strength of schedule, you got to realize, this is Florida State. We can beat a number 4 team, ranked team in the nation by 2 points and drop 5 spots in the poll.
No, yeah,
Alabama can lose to an unranked LSU team and go up 2 spots. No matter what the strength of schedule is, FSU will always be treated like the hated stepchild in college football.
But people got to start. But people got to start realizing that they can't keep doing that though, because Florida State's on the rise, and they keep
every single year. There's about 8 to 12 teams in college football that can win a national title every single year. That's why when I said there's a 12-team playoff going to happen, that's perfect, because those are usually the only teams that can win a national title in any given year. And Florida State's one of those 12. USC's one of those 12. Georgia's one of those 12. Ohio State, Notre Dame, even though they lost, are one of those 12. And you'll get the sporadic, maybe a TCU here and there, or Florida or Miami that'll, be in the mix year in and year out. But this year, Florida State's one of those teams that they have the team to play for a championship. As the season progressed, the pressure will get stronger and stronger and stronger, like it always does, because the ACC gets a bad rap for being the ACC. But yet, this year, you have to look around college football right now. The SEC is down this year. My opinion, based on the top teams in the ACC and the top teams in the SEC, were pretty equal this year. So you can't have the same narrative of punishing the ACC teams over SEC teams in the playoff.
Yeah.
But also, the Pac-12 is elite all of a sudden, and it's the last year of it. So that just amazes me.
Ride or die there.
There's 5 teams in the top 10 in the AP top 10 out of the Pac-12, or excuse me, 4 teams. It's the most ever. It's
been a while since we've seen a Pac-12 team up there.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of teams every single year.
Yeah.
That are in the 12-team bracket, and usually it's the teams that invest in their program. If it's historically over the last 30 years, it's LSU, it's Florida, it's Miami, it's Florida State, it's Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Texas, Oklahoma, USC, Oregon, Michigan, Ohio State, maybe Nebraska that spends the money to win championship. And those are the schools historically. Sorry, Clemson. I forgot about you guys. Those are the ones that historically are financially can go for national title football every year because they have programs to do so. Now you'll have the little Cinderellas, the TCUs, the UCFs, who claim false national titles and thinking that they're in the game, but it's not. No, it's college football. It's unique. Right now, we're 4 weeks into it, and as of right now, every time Florida State wins, we drop in the poll, which is kind of hypothetical. I'm just going to say, a lot of people out there listen. What happens if Florida State loses the game? They're not going to leave a one-loss Florida State team out of a playoff if they win the ACC. Florida State's too big of a brand. We're a bigger brand than Colorado, even though what that doofus thinks over in Colorado. We're a big brand. And if Florida State keeps winning, takes care of business, good thing about Florida State and the ACC, our schedule's getting tougher each week in the season because Duke becomes ranked. Syracuse is receiving votes by the time. If they beat Clemson next week, they're going to be in the top 25 when we play them. Miami's getting up there in the rankings. Florida's in the rankings right there. So Florida State's schedule went from, I checked yesterday, Florida State's strength schedule went from 102 to 42nd.
Oh, that's a big jump.
That's a big because of those
teams are ranked now.
Yeah, Virginia Tech and North Alabama don't help the ranking at all.
No.
Pittsburgh doesn't either. They stink too. But Florida State's schedule is getting tougher. Florida's schedule is going to get tougher because you got the matchups against LSU coming, Georgia, of course, Kentucky. You already got Tennessee, and of course, you get Florida State at the end of the year. So the month of September is going to be gone, and we get to see what the college football season is all about. But for Florida State, we've had a brutal September. LSU and Clemson, like, dear God, I will really love to start with University of Alabama Birmingham. UT Martin and the Citadel, and other crappy teams. But Florida State doesn't do that. We're not entitled like University of Georgia is with their schedule. But that happens when you schedule opponents 15 years in advance, where you think these teams are going to be good, and they bring them on. They're like, oh, well, we're not good. But unfortunately, we got to talk about it, my friend, before we leave. We got to talk about that shit show that happened in Everbank Field last night or yesterday, whatever the fuck time.
Do we really have to talk about this?
We got to talk about it. We have to.
Oh my gosh.
Unprepared, bad execution, receivers can't catch, and when they do catch, they can't hold on to the football. They fumble it. Quarterback can't accurate it. Brandon McManus misses a field goal, yeah. I wonder why Denver cut him.
Yep, we're starting to see why.
And we can't tackle a fullback who muffed the kickoff. There was so much BS that happened this game. It was that's why I have it as the smallest segment of this week's show. It's because all the radio I've heard today, and I guarantee the listeners on the Den Media agree, we've seen the same charade. It's the same old freaking Jags. It's the opposite of last year. We were 2-1 at this point last year. We're 1-2 this year. Now they're going to London. Okay, let's see what they do in London. I guarantee nothing will change in London.
If nothing changes, then my parent butt's coming out, and I'm hitting it.
We're gonna go play a team in Atlanta that doesn't like to throw the football because they don't have a good quarterback. But we're playing Jacksonville, so he'll end up throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's just, it's so disappointing that we were sold on all these goods about how lethal this offense can be. This offense can't move the ball. There's rumors that you got the OC and the coach swapping times when they call plays. Then you got the coach that that it's not happening. Press Taylor's calling the plays. There's so many things I just want to go, what happened to the team last year? Where's that team from last year? And is this the same BS all over again from 2018? I send you a week. I tweeted it out here on Sports 09-4's Twitter of Spider-Man's pointing at each other. 2018 pointing at 2020, 2013.
Yeah, 100%.
But here's the difference between that year and this year. We were 3-1 then, and we demolished New England, and then got reality checked by Kansas City. This year, we lost to Kansas City and got reality checked by Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Two different paths.
It was a hard reality check for us after losing to Houston in Everbank Field. We were so excited. I mean, shoot, we win all our preseason games, and we beat the Colts up in Indy, and we come back into Jacksonville and lose to Chiefs, and I mean, defense played outstanding that day. And then next thing, our defense didn't want to show up against Houston and not put any pressure. Thanks a lot, Trayvon Walker. You know, it's one of those types of things. To lose to Houston like that and to still give them their first win of the season is terrible. Like we said in the beginning of our podcast here. Bring up the face again. Bring up that. I even shouted that out when we were watching that game. I mean, we were so excited for this team this year with all these weapons. I want that team back from the last part of the season from last year that had the drive, had the hunger, and was focused on winning these games. But well unprepared, don't know what to do with the football. Then
I'm just going to keep doing it.
Let's keep doing it. It's there. This should be the segment for. This should be posted up on every Jaguars locker room and saying that, because we are
hello
so
darkness,
used
my
to
old
this.
friend. Yeah, hello darkness. It's just. It's almost becoming numbing that, Houston's coming to town. Well, don't bother because we're going to lose this game.
Yeah, it's starting to play out like that every single time with Houston. It was like that. It's frustrating with the weapons that we have, and we still can't get it done. We still can't get it done.
We can't block that. Well, we're starting to run the football, which is positive. The problem is our receivers can't get open.
Nope.
And when they do get open, they can't catch. And then when they do catch, they can't hold on to the ball because it fumbles. We have a kicker that can kick 90-yard field goals with ease, but decided to be very inaccurate badly.
Very bad.
We have safeties who decided to cover an out route and leave a rookie going wide open down the middle of the field. There are so many things in this game that you question. And the thing is people I see on Twitter going after Trevor's like, it's Trevor's fault. Trevor threw a perfect pass to Calvin Ridley to start the game for a touchdown. He dropped it.
He dropped it.
He threw a perfect pass to Agnew for a gain of 16 on a 3rd and 15. Agnew got it, dropped it, fumbled, and then Houston got the ball. Also, a beautiful pass he threw to Calvin Ridley in the end zone that he caught. He should have caught. Luckily, he got the pass interference. So Lawrence cannot throw and catch at the same time.
No, he can't. He can't create another of him like a twin and have him down there.
There's issues. I wonder if it's more mental for against the Texans than anything else. And that's the question.
That is the key question.
We play down to our opponents. Watch this. They'll go to London. They'll beat Atlanta, right? They'll be 2-2, feeling good, and then Buffalo comes and they'll play their best game ever against Buffalo and beat the crap out of Buffalo or beat Buffalo. Then they'll come home, play the Colts, and lose to the Colts.
See, if that does happen, because I was listening to 10-10, and they said like, we all know what's going to happen. Jags don't go over to London, beat the Falcons, and beat the Bills, and next thing you know, the rest of the season they start like showing the potential. But if that does happen, we come back and we lose to the Colts, I am going to be furious, mad. Everybody will be mad.
And also, the Colts look like a better team with Gardner Minshew at quarterback than Anthony Richardson.
Isn't that blows my mind even thinking
Yeah,
about
it
that.
does. But as much as it's depressing, you lose by 20 to a god awful team. At least we're not the Cowboys who lost to a team that doesn't have a quarterback. And you look around the NFL, at least we're not the Minnesota Vikings who are 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
And at least we're not the Tennessee Titans who failed to crack 100 offensive yards against a Cleveland Browns team with a
Yep.
quarterback that threw 2 interceptions, and one
Mm-hmm.
of them was a backwards interception. So you look at the AFC South, the Colts are 2-1 right now. Yay, they're 2-1. They're feeling high. I don't.
Yep.
Jacksonville is still going to win this division. They're going to find their way. 17 game season. I say the reason why I say this is because Jacksonville started last year 2-5, or 1-5 or something in the regular season,
It was like 2-5, 1-5, right around
and then
there.
we finished the season 9-8. So there's a lot of football to be played. I'm not panicking just yet. That was one shitty performance, but I don't know what Trent Baalke needs to do. Sign every single free agent defensive end that you know of. Pay them outrageous money to just get here because we need a pass rush.
We
Teams are
need it
not
bad.
afraid. Where's Smoot? Where's Devon? Well, Devon Hamilton, I think, is projected to come back after the London trips.
Mm-hmm.
Smoot, I think, is becoming almost maybe day to day or almost a week out. So hopefully those additions can help.
But
But
especially we need Cam Robinson back too on our offensive line.
But Chase on needs to go. That guy, I saw him get freaking pushed to a side by a single finger against Houston, against a backup tackle. Not even the starting tackle. A backup tackle, and he gets thrown to the side like he was like nothing. It's very irritating.
Yes,
But I can't dwell on it. It was a good weekend in sports. My Knowles won, beat a rival. Gators won. Still, a win's a win. You got to take the win.
Gotta take the win, yeah.
Yeah, you're 3 wins away to being bowl eligible for a team that Vegas thought was only going to win 4 games or 5 games. So you're almost there. You know, you 3 more wins, you're bowl eligible.
Halfway there.
Yeah. But yeah, depressing times in city of Jacksonville. It happens. But there's some bright things happening in the future in the city of Jacksonville. The Iceman have preseason games coming up at the Igloo. Jacksonville Shark season tickets are available now for the upcoming 2024 season. There might be a promotion code that results with this show for that. But there's a lot of events. The Jumbo Shrimp season came to an end. And I think we got college basketball about to start up here pretty soon with training camps from Florida, Florida State, UNF, JU. And, of course, we'll get probably Jacksonville Jackson on here from EWC. Talk about what's going on at Edward Waters College here either next week or later next week. So you'll have more information stuff about Jacksonville and Jacksonville sports. But, hey, Jacksonville fans, got to admit, depressing. It's sad sometimes. But again, we're dumb enough as fans to like, you know what? It could be better. So let me go through this depression again this weekend. So Gators play at noon on Saturday on what, like the SEC network or something like that?
It's either SEC or ESPN.
ESPN. Jaguars play at 9:30 in the morning, folks. So the pregame stuff on radio will start like at 6 a.m. 9:30 because they are in London. That's 9:30 a.m. That's this weekend. But we'll be back on Friday to break down mostly just 2 things. Cam Solomon, wide receiver of the Jacksonville Sharks, will join us to talk about the Sharks and what the offseason is like, what they're preparing for the 2024 season. And we'll talk about Jags and the Falcons to wrap up this week's editions of the Sports Zone podcast here on Den Media Group. Remember, like, subscribe, click the bell. Sign up for the membership, $3.99 membership to Den Media. It helps book back drives, helps get kids to sporting events that they can't get by themselves. Supports Den Media. It supports the MFT Gay Foundation, what Big Game James does. So remember, do the partnership, $3.99 to help the cause. Like, subscribe, share this, spray it. Spread it like wildfire, and I might be getting a hookup on either some tickets for the Iceman or Sharks games here. So if you are interested to get tickets for those, you might be awarded. Might have a raffle for them in the future. So keep your eye on that. Pat, any final words before we let everyone go for this Tuesday's edition of the Sports Zone?
What do you want me to say? I'm still numb about that game from yesterday. I mean, everybody have a good Monday, Tuesday day. Don't let this Hello Darkness, my old friend, get to you so badly.
This is better for you.
Yeah, that'd be better for me. Good job. I like it. But everybody have a good day. Don't let this Jaguar Houston game get to you too bad. Now y'all can still keep on watching this. That was a highlight of my life. I mean, on my Saturday and Sunday there. And that's Jim's highlight there too. But
good old Dabo.
But everybody have a good week. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything too crazy. Just brush off this Jaguar loss off to the side, and then let's see what happens in London.
Yeah, with that, I have no final words, but suck it, Clemson. Suck it. But anyways, I'm Jim. That's Pat. This has been Sports Zone 904 on a Tuesday edition. We'll see you guys on Friday for more content breaking down Falcons, Jaguars, Gators, and Wildcats from Kentucky. So enjoy your week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you Friday.